Welcome to Gist Dish TV, your ultimate gist corner. Before we dive into this story, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the spicy Nollywood updates we drop daily. Today, it's Maurice Sam, Timi Egbuson, and Sonia Uche in a drama that has the whole industry buzzing. What happened on that set wasn't just acting, it was real life colliding with personal emotions, and the tension was something you had to witness to believe. It started like any ordinary day on set. Cameras were being positioned, lights blazing hot as always, and the crew hustling around, adjusting wires and whispering cues. Sonia Uche walked in first, calm and graceful, the kind of presence that makes everyone pause without realizing it. Maurice Sam followed shortly after, sharp-eyed, calm, and observant, the type of man whose aura naturally draws attention. Then came Timi Egbuson, lively, playful, and full of charm, cracking jokes with the crew as though he had been part of the team forever. On the surface, it looked like just another Nollywood shoot. But beneath the laughter, tension was quietly brewing, and by the time it erupted, no one on set would ever forget it. Sonia carried herself with absolute professionalism. Her focus was on her lines, her delivery, and making every moment in front of the camera carry weight. Maurice, however, wasn't just watching the scene. His eyes were constantly on Sonia, observing her interactions, her laughter, her expressions. Every time she smiled at Timi or laughed at one of his jokes, Maurice's jaw would tighten slightly, his shoulders stiffening. To everyone else, it looked like nothing, but to those paying attention, it was clear that something was brewing beneath the surface. Timi, as usual, was oblivious. His charisma made everyone feel comfortable, and Sonia, being open-hearted, didn't think twice about engaging with him. To her, it was harmless fun, a natural part of acting. But to Maurice, the chemistry on set started to feel dangerously close to reality, a crossing of invisible lines that made his heart uneasy. As the day went on, the scenes demanded more emotional intensity. Sonia and Timi were paired together for a sequence requiring closeness, vulnerability, and emotional depth. The director wanted the audience to feel their bond, to believe the story was real. Sonia gave it her all, opening herself up to the scene with an authenticity that made the entire crew pause. Her eyes were soft, her lines heartfelt, and the room was filled with palpable emotion. But then Timi decided to improvise. He leaned closer to Sonia, touched her shoulder in a way that wasn't rehearsed, and softened his voice in a way that made the scene feel intensely personal. The director erupted with excitement, shouting, "Perfect! That's exactly the emotion I need." The crew clapped, but Maurice was frozen. What to everyone else was at now felt like an intrusion, and his heart raced uncontrollably. During the short break after that scene, Maurice couldn't hold back his feelings any longer. He approached Sonia with a mixture of concern and frustration. "Sonia, are you really comfortable with how far that scene went?" he asked. Sonia turned to him, calm and confident. "Maurice, it's part of the job. We have to sell the story to the audience." "Nothing more," she said gently, leaving no room for doubt. Maurice nodded, trying to accept her words, but deep inside, a storm of emotions refused to settle. He trusted her professionalism, but he couldn't ignore the uneasiness that gnawed at him every time Timi interacted with her. Timi, oblivious to Maurice's inner turmoil, continued joking with the crew, making Sonia laugh again. Each laugh felt like a small reminder to Maurice of the boundaries he feared had been crossed. Jealousy had quietly crept into his heart, growing with every unguarded glance, every light-hearted joke shared between Sonia and Timi. By evening, things reached a boiling point. A particularly intense scene required Sonia and Timi to perform a near-romantic sequence, one demanding raw emotion and authentic chemistry. The cameras rolled, and Sonia delivered her lines flawlessly, tears welling as the depth of the scene consumed her. Timi, again adding gestures and subtle movements that weren't part of the script, intensified the moment. The director shouted in excitement, "This is exactly the energy we need." The crew erupted into applause. But Maurice's heart sank. His fist clenched, jaw tightened, and it was clear to anyone observing that something inside him had snapped. What looked like magic on screen felt to him like a boundary being violated. Later that night, when the set wrapped and the crew began packing, Maurice decided he could no longer remain silent. He found Timi outside where it was quieter. Listen, Maurice said, his voice low and firm, I don't know what you think you're doing, but let's get one thing straight. Respect Sonia. This is work, not your playground. Don't confuse professionalism with something else. Timi blinked, a little surprised by the sudden seriousness. He tried to brush it off with a laugh. Come on, Maurice. It's acting. You're overthinking this. But Maurice's eyes remained locked on him. I know the difference between acting and stepping out of bounds. Don't test me. Timi realized for the first time that Maurice wasn't joking. The tension was thick, and even crew members passing by felt it radiating in the air. The next morning, Sonia learned about the confrontation. Shock, frustration, and a hint of sadness crossed her face. She respected Maurice's concern but refused to let personal drama overshadow her work. She sat both men down in a quiet corner of the set and spoke firmly, I came here to work. I came here to give my best, to tell a story that would touch people. I don't want this to become about personal issues. Maurice, I appreciate your concern, but you have to trust me. Timi, please stay professional. Don't let improvisation create unnecessary tension. Both men absorbed her words. Maurice sighed, realizing she was right, and Timi nodded, understanding the weight of his actions. Sonia reminded them that professionalism always comes first. The director noticed the shift in energy and pulled Maurice aside. You have to separate the man from the actor, he advised. Sonia and Timi are here to work. If you let personal feelings cloud your judgment, you lose sight of the bigger picture. Maurice reflected on this, realizing the truth in the words. That night, he approached Sonia privately. I'm sorry. I let my emotions get the best of me. I trust you and respect how you handled everything, he said. Sonia smiled softly. Maurice, all I need is for you to believe in me. As long as we stay focused on what brought us here, everything else will fall into place. Peace returned for the first time in days. By the end of the project, the chemistry on screen was undeniable. The performances were praised by fans, but behind the scenes, everyone knew it hadn't been an easy journey. Maurice learned that trust and respect are stronger than jealousy and fear. Timi learned that spontaneity in creative work must always respect boundaries. Sonia proved once again that grace and professionalism can navigate even the trickiest of emotional storms. This story raises powerful questions about human behavior, trust, and boundaries. When emotions collide with work, what do you choose, trust or fear? When creativity tests limits, how far should freedom go before it becomes disrespect? On the Nollywood set, all three, Maurice Sam, Timi Egbuson, and Sonia Uche, learned lessons about emotional intelligence, professionalism, and the delicate balance of human relationships. This is real-life drama that's more intense than fiction, and it leaves us thinking, when boundaries blur in our own lives, do we choose trust, or do we let fear control our decisions? Comment your thoughts, share your experiences, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so you never miss the next explosive story from Gist Dish TV, your ultimate Gist Corner.